Hi, Jay Haig at Living Without Lust. Great to be back with you again. Today's video is the 9th video in a 10 video series on the most asked questions concerning lust, pornography, and sexual addiction from a Christian perspective. Today I want to speak to you about the benefits of sobriety and sexual addiction recovery, and they are many. The first and most interior benefit has to do with freedom from the obsession and compulsion. Obsession means to be constantly thinking about something, and when we get into recovery, when we're working the steps, when we're sober, we begin to receive the benefits of recovery, the obsession begins to lessen. Secondly, the compulsion lessens also. The indelible connection between our thoughts and acting out, which always were connected and always led from one to the other, is suddenly broken. We begin to be able to surrender. And so the obsession and the compulsion begins to lessen greatly. We may still be tempted, and probably will be tempted. Jesus was tempted. Temptation is common to man. But the obsession and the compulsion begins to lessen greatly, and we begin to have more freedom. The second benefit is we begin to be able to be intimate with those around us. The addiction has somehow made a block between ourselves and our spouses or our children or our families. We're off in another world thinking about things that are disconnected with reality. But in recovery, we begin to be able to be intimate. We begin to be able to listen and to take in the thoughts and feelings of others. We begin to think about others. We begin to give to others. This is what normal intimacy is all about. And in recovery, we begin to experience that for ourselves. The third benefit is community. Now, many of us, because of our addiction, had to live secretive lives or chose to live secretive lives that were cut off, and others really didn't understand who we were. We didn't want them to understand who we were. But in genuine community, when we get into the rooms of recovery, and we meet other people who are struggling with the same thing we're struggling with, even though their addiction might be slightly different, it all stems from the same source, which is lust. In those rooms, we begin to become honest. We begin to realize that we can be who we are, that we can talk about our real selves. And that is a healing and uniting experience for all of us. And it's one of the great benefits of recovery. We begin to be ourselves. We don't have to be someone else. We don't have to be known for who we're not. We can begin to be known for who we really are, struggles and all. Finally, the fourth benefit is that we begin to be able to give rather than take all the time. You see, real recovery does not just have to do with stopping our addiction, whether it be drugs, alcohol, or lust. It has to do with adopting a whole new attitude of giving rather than taking all the time. Jesus said, "Blessed or happy are you who give." And as we give to others, we begin to find out what life is all about. We're freed from the constant need to take care of our own secretive, lustful needs. And we begin to be able to give to others. Then lastly, we begin to understand the gospel and the Bible, perhaps for the first time. Many of us have had to have our old religion kind of remade. We brought it into recovery and it didn't work, so we had to have it remade. And in this remade relationship with God, we began to understand what grace is, what mercy is, what connection with Him is, what the gospel is. And when we begin to do that, we begin to be free. Many of us have appreciated the prodigal son, and we can say that perhaps the prodigal son, when he went away, didn't really understand who his father was. But when he was received back in grace and mercy and provision, and given the fatted calf, and given the ring in his finger, and the robe, and all the marks of his father's love and grace, he really began to understand his father for the first time. He understood connection and belonging for the first time. So there are many, many benefits of recovery. If you'd like to discuss this more, you can simply email me, jay@livingwithoutlust.com. But I hope at whatever stage you are that you will get into the rooms of recovery and begin to experience these great benefits of sexual addiction sobriety and recovery. So until next time, I'm Jay Haig. Have a great day.